Alright, so let's take a look at the first two rows of the JCE editor. We've already talked about the Show Hide button, which is very, very helpful when you're trying to figure out why your tables are messed up. The first button is the Help button. It's actually pretty helpful. You'll be able to get some good information here about the JCE editor, about the interface, and here's all the button overviews and shows you exactly what they all do. And so if you want to delve deeper than this tutorial into what all of the buttons do, I'd encourage you to click on Help. If you have a document and you just want to clear everything, that's the easiest way to do it. Bold, italic, underline, of course. Font family, which I encourage you to not necessarily use. Allow your style guide to do your editing for you. Again, same with font size, although you can change the font size in here, just like Microsoft Word. Styles, these are the styles from the template. Strike through, full align, center align, left and right justified. These are pretty normal. And then this is my favorite, the formatting dropdown, where I can now format my text any way I want. And these can be added to from your template file. So again, if I want to have large text, in HTML, the web, and Joomla, you don't want to highlight this and go font size 36 point. But you don't really want to do that. Let me show you why. Because now I have a span style equals font size 36. This can get very, very messy very quickly in your text. A far better solution would be to get rid of these tags. Make sure you do the slash span. Now we have our normal text again. And just click H2, which is defined in your CSS. You should follow your style guide and allow your CSS to define your text for you. And now we just have a simple H2 slash H2, and it's far better. So that's the first row of JCE. Second row, cut, copy, paste. And in the new version, normal paste and paste as plain text. This is really important if you're copying and pasting from Word. Again, I really encourage you to not complex Word documents. The way I describe this to most people is this. Imagine the Old West. This is the Old West. HTML WYSIWYG editors are like 1800 Boston. Microsoft Word is like Boston 2010. You would look at the same city, but they're completely different because one has 200 years of development, the other is just brand new. In Internet speak, think of it the same way. Microsoft Word has had years and years of development. It's a massive program and it does everything. HTML editors like this are very, very basic and cannot handle the complex code that Microsoft Word would throw in here. You might paste it in and it might look okay, but if you click the Show Hide button and look at how big your HTML article has become, it's really, really ugly. Pasting as plain text gets rid of some of that, but I encourage you to develop your documents in, say, Google Docs or even right here in the JCE editor. If you're going to do that, let me encourage you to do one very important thing. We'll cancel out of this for just a moment. Come over to Global Configuration, Server, System, and change your session lifetime to longer than 15 minutes. There's nothing worse than writing an article that took you 16 minutes to write and your session is timed out. You click Save and suddenly you've just lost everything. Which brings up a good point. You should save your articles often. But first, change this session to something that's more manageable. 3 hours may be a little too long, but while you're getting your site set up, it's very acceptable to do that. Back in my article manager then, one of the things that I like to do is I will turn this Publish to No. Get my article written. Here's more of my article. And now I can just click Apply. Of course, it needs a title first, and a section and category. Now, the article is saved, but it's not published yet, because I don't want people seeing my unfinished work on my site. Then, when I get around to finishing up, I can just click the Publish button, click Save, and my article's live on my site. So, that's an important element when we start to talk about pasting as plain text. If you have something that's formatted, use this option. I can do searches in long articles. I can do a basic search and replace in my article, change the font color, change the highlighting color. This is to disable a link. I can indent text, undo the indent, outdent, indent and outdent text, undo, redo. This gives me a few options: upper alpha, upper Roman, lower alpha. Or I can just have an unordered list with circle, disk, or square built in. Now my CSS is going to determine how those work as well. If I want to create links inside my article, I can do anchor text, clean up my messy code. Just clicking that button just does a quick peek through your code and cleans it up. And of course I can remove formatting with this button. And now that H2 tag is gone. So that's the first 2 lines of JCE.